Well, Luca Cumani is the next of Mark's 5 trainers that he's put under the spotlight. Trainers that had notable winners over the weekend. Luca Cumani sort of goes a little bit deeper in as much as it also embraces Mount Athos. And, you know, one of the points you're making here, Mark, on his particular trend is how horses that have joined him have made marked improvements sort of since joining his stable.
Yeah, that's right. That's the main theme, really. Mount Athos would be the prime example, but in connection with the weekends, Zakynthos, who me and you saw win at Haydock on Friday, again another example of a horse who hasn't been with Luca for too long. I think he's only had 3 runs, but he's won twice. But as I say, Mount Athos will be the prime example. But Luca's just done so well the last, at least probably really the last 5 or 6 years at least, with these horses that are new additions to the yard. Yeah,
Mount Athos is a serious horse, and going over to the Melbourne Cup, he looks an ideal horse for the Melbourne Cup to my eye, Mark.
He does. He appears to have the ideal profile. It's a race that Luca's come mighty close to winning in the past with the likes of Purple Moon. But Mount Athos, I think by Luca's own admission, he will be his best horse that he's sent out for the Melbourne Cup in the past. But he's really thrived this season. I think, in fairness to his trainer from last year, David Watchman, he didn't have the best of luck because he repeatedly got bad draws, Chester Cup, Ebor, etc., Old Newton Cup. He just never really either got his ground or the draws, whereas this season they've been very patient with him. They've gone for the right race. They pulled him out of the Chester Cup because he was too soft, and it's really paid rich dividends. Unbeaten so far this season, unbeaten since he's gone to Luca, and then to step up there, having won a handicap at York in sort of middle of July, and then to win a Geoffrey Freer like that is just an indication of what a talented and what a progressive horse he is.
Yeah, and he is fairly ground dependent, Mark.
Very much so. He's all about good or fast ground. I think, as I say, soft ground ruled him out of the Chester Cup earlier in the season, so hopefully he'll get his conditions. But when he does, you know, he's a pretty good horse.
I mean, it's a plus that he likes those sort of conditions, you know, as regards the Melbourne Cup.
Yeah, definitely. We've had a pretty wretched summer, as we all know, this year, so they've had to be selective where they went. They could have gone Northumberland Plate again. The ground scuppered in for him there, but hopefully he'll get his conditions in Australia. But he's such a high-quality horse who is clearly improving with every single run, and Luke has done some job with him.
And what's his rating now, Mark?
That's a fair question, but you're talking about 112, 115, I would imagine, without looking it up.
Now 120 now.
120. So, but he was rated 103 when he started with Luca. Now 120. So as that tells you, he's made pretty giant strides this season.
And there's a couple of more that you've made note of there, Mark. Quest for Peace being one of them, and of course the Haydock weekend winner Zakynthos.
Yeah, Quest for Peace, he's also Australia bound as well. He came from Aidan O'Brien last season. As you can see, he's a pretty good strike race since he's gone to Luca. He's had a good season in his own right this year. Zakynthos, he wouldn't be up to the level of the top 2 on there, but in his own right, he's made good progression. 3 runs for Luca. He won on Friday at Haydock. How far he'll end up, it's just impossible to say, but he's done very little wrong. 2 wins. He won at Newmarket, and this is Friday at Haydock.
Yeah, Patrick Hills rode him here, and he had to ride a patient race. The gaps were not appearing perhaps as quickly as he would have wanted, but when daylight did finally present itself, he had plenty of horse to go through.
He was, yeah. He needed the gap to come. He beat Sable Master, who's in front at the moment, the white sleeves. Cape Classic in the yellow. He's close up third in the end, but he was 77 when he went to Luca. He won this off 87, so I'm sure he'll have got a rise for this, how much he's got. So he's already up at least £10 since he's gone to the stable. How far he could end up is really difficult to say, but he's definitely going the right way.
Yeah, it certainly is. He's a horse to keep on the right side. And nothing increases a horse's confidence more than winning as well, and this horse's confidence looks sky high at the moment.
And he caught with the ground very well on that occasion at Haydock, so hopefully while the conditions are on the quick side there could be more to come from him. But Mount Athos, he would be very much the number 1. Quest for Peace, he's been very effective in the races contest, won at Glorious Goodwood. We'll have to see how he gets on in Australia as well.
And there are others there, Mark, that have improved since joining Luca as well, that you've made a particular note of.
Yeah, I've picked out 3 others, as you can see there. Contredance, the filly in the middle there, she was bought for quite a lot of money at the end of her 2-year-old career. When she went to Luca, she'd had the 3 runs. She was obviously a very well handicapped filly. Started off 75, but that was some progression again for her as well. To end up 110 at the end of that season. She progressed through the ranks. I think she won a handicap at Windsor. She won an Italian Oaks, and then obviously she's competing at a high level. I think she ran in the Nassau Stakes that season. So again, that is some improvement that year.
Yeah, I did like Astor Butler. I thought he was a really likeable horse.
Yeah, very good horse. He ended up, as it says on there, he won a Heritage Handicap at Sandown. He looked pretty exposed when he first went to Luca, but again, he made excess of £20 improvement since he went there. Drunken Sailor, I think that was a time when he came over from I think it was Ger Lyons in Ireland. There was another horse that Fiery Lad came at the same time, but Drunken Sailor, he did very well, ended up progressing through handicaps to making a mark in pattern races.
And again, more or less the same question I asked about James Fancho. Do you see enough armoury there at the Cumani yard to give him a good sort of final 6 or 8 weeks of the season?
I think so, especially in the older horse division. I think by Luca's own admission, he's not that strong in the 3-year-olds this year, but the older horses, he's got plenty of bullets to fire. The thing I'm really looking forward to, I don't think it'll be so much this season, but those Wildenstein 2-year-olds that have obviously gone there now, whether we'll see some of them run before the end of the season, but I'm sure they'll be all beautifully bred horses, and they could be something to look forward to next year.
They tend to be sort of, that Luca takes his time with horses, so he can have horses there that are just simmering and doing okay, and they can really come to fruition as and when.
They do, and they just seem to get better as they get older. Just a couple of his middle distance handicappers this season. Dana didn't race a lot last season, won a Zetland Gold Cup here at Redcar, won at the Ebor Festival. Kurt Hill as well, he will be in a similar sort of bracket. Mount Athos has bridged that gap from good handicaps to pattern races, but he just seems to do so well with those middle distance older horses that can keep progressing as they get older.
Yeah, he certainly does. Mount Athos certainly one to make your mouth water for the Melbourne Cup, and the Cumani yard in general going well at the moment.